It was a dark time for the National Wrestling Alliance. After Tim Storm gained the belt and Billy Corgan lost ownership, the only thing that mattered to Paul Pinkie George III was branding and consumer rights. Quickly, he sold off the rights to the name Starrcade to some guy trying to start up a wrestling-themed arcade cabinet, deciding only to run little shows here and there for merch sales and little profit. Stars left and moved on, and the wrestling world evolved without them. Months passed. Things looked bleak for the National Wrestling Alliance until a fateful day in November, until the return of Billy Corgan. Can Corgan regain control of the NWA? Can he restore it to its former glory? Hey everybody, it's Durgertime. Welcome back to Billy Corgan's NWA on Total Extreme Wrestling 2016. So, as you saw from the intro, a little bit different. We kind of, I don't want to call this a reboot, because it's not, but you'll notice that on the top of the screen here, the date is November 1st now. Last time we had an episode, it was like July or something like that. So, we did a bit of a time skip, and one of the reasons that we did a time skip is because I wanted to jump over to a new updated database. I felt like the best way to describe it is that the wrestling world has changed too dramatically over the 2 years that we were running this save. I'm still very committed to the save. I think it's really interesting, and I want it to go places, but it felt wrong the longer we went that the world didn't reflect the reality of wrestling. When we started, not much was going on in the wrestling world, right? 2018 was kind of a dull point. I mean, there was a great stuff, don't get me wrong, but there wasn't that much activity. It wasn't very interesting. Now, it's very interesting. You got a heated war between two major companies. You got competition everywhere. You got hostilities. You got, New Japan's trying to get Kenny Omega not to go to Japan. You got hostilities between them. You got Ring of Honor imploding. You got Impact and a new renaissance. You got CMLL. God knows what the hell is going on down there. There's so much activity and liveliness to have us not be involved in that world felt wrong. So I've been thinking about it for a while, and this might upset some viewers, but I wanted to kind of hit that reset button a little bit. So it's not a complete reset. It's not a new season. We're kind of like a mid-season break. We're skipping ahead a little bit, and we are not starting over, but we're starting relatively over. So we have a lot more money in the bank. That's because of selling off Starrcade and selling off, a whole bunch of stuff. But our momentum and our popularity has gone drastically down. They're at like E. Now, for the most part, not much is different here. We still have the Carl's Jr.'s Presents NWA World Championship. Still have the Crockett Cup. This I have to actually change. Ricky Morton and Gibson should not be tag teams. Let me replace that real quick. I did keep some of our roster. So basically anybody that was a champion stayed. Anybody that yes. Okay, perfect. So that'll work perfectly. Sasha should still be world champion. Tim Storm should still be world's heavyweight. So everything looks fine there. The roster is much different. So I took the Real World Chronicles 2019 November save and used that as a springboard. So we have some new people because obviously time has advanced. A lot of our talent has disappeared. So Cody's gone. His brother's gone. And like a lot of people are gone because through those couple months, AEW happened and Impact changed and all the other things had changed. So we still have some of our talent, right? So we still have Pillman, we still have Brody, But for the most part, we're starting with a relatively fresh roster. So basically, the only people that are here that stuck with us were people that were still champions. Sasha, Nick Aldis, who else we got? Icarus. Josephus is still with us. Pillman is with us still. So we have, Vink, who's playing Wink, who's playing Paul Pinkie George, is still with us. But for the most part, we have a pretty. Ashley Vox is still with us. So most of the people are gone. So Trent, Nick, Trent and Chuck are gone because obviously they're out there. So like everybody in the different rosters are basically all scattered across the land, as you will. And I think that was important because I really wanted to have AEW and Impact and everybody else be basically copacetic with their roster. I didn't want to steal too much. The only people that I took were the people that were currently title holders for the most part. So Charlotte's still back there because we never even used her, right? We didn't even get her yet. But Sasha, we bled out somehow and we got her. Raymond and Hanson, we still have from our save. But everybody else is pretty much fresh. And we are running weekly Powers episodes. And that, I believe, is just on YouTube. So it's a much different situation that we're in at this point, right? And we have a Jim Cornette issue because apparently he can't keep his fucking mouth shut. So, yeah, so we got to deal with that. Like I said, more interesting. Yay. So we got to deal with that and how we handle that situation. We'll have to look at. So let's look at our roster here real quick and see what we're at. So like I said, we got some of the current power wrestlers on here. So Nick Aldis, James Storms, Eli Drake, Aaron Stevens, looking good. We have Cabana, Trevor Murdoch, Thomas Latimer. I don't know some of these guys, to be honest, so bear with me. Brian Pillman Jr., who we pulled over, still upper mid-carder, Hanson and Rowe, Disciple Icarus. We got Zane Dawson and Caleb Conley. I don't know. Some of these guys I don't know, and I might just pull them out. Our women's division kind of sucks, and Brody is a opener. So actually, our women's division doesn't look that bad, but we might need one or two people. And then we have some, randoms, not randoms, but occasional wrestlers, Mr. Anderson, Gibson. We might bleed those out as well. Just don't necessarily need them. 2 referees, 2 personalities, no road agent. I might keep Anderson, and I might see, your role is only a wrestler, right? Because I could kind of use road agent. See how he feels about it. Current role is fine, so perfect. He'll be fine with that. We do have to do a little bit of bookkeeping here. There we go, perfect. Paul Pinkie George, add him back in there. Wonderful. Okay. And we probably want to update. The Icarus isn't really the Disciple anymore, so I might just keep him as Icarus for now. Josephus, we have. I should have a picture of him. There he is. He has sometimes these don't quite work. Perfect. Okay. So we got rid of a lot of people, and a lot of them is because they moved to, AEW and stuff like that. So we have that kind of talent gap, potentially. Now, I do want to get rid of some people off the bat that I'm just not going to use. It's not worth. Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson, we can just get rid of. I don't really need the Rock and Roll Express. Sorry, I guess. So let's just boot them and be done with it. I think it's fine. Where's Ricky Morton? I'm not gonna ever use them, so it's a waste right now. So some of the guys I just don't know very well. So we can keep them around, some of them, if it makes sense. But I'm not necessarily going to worry too much about maintaining them. But we'll see how they are. I might keep some of these guys. I just don't really have a familiarity with a lot of them. So it's important. I mean, I have, obviously with some, like I know Aaron Stevens and Allison Kay. I don't quite remember. But we'll see how she does. That's fine. Colt Cabana. I could take it or leave it, to be honest. Eli Drake will keep. James Storms we can keep. I don't know. We can toss this now. I don't know who this is, and we can probably do better. Marty Bell will keep. So that doesn't look that bad. I don't know this guy, but we might just keep him. Same thing with Isaacs here. We'll see what they do. Latimer. Oh, this guy. Right. I forgot about this. We'll keep him. Sure. We are missing some people, though, from what Power should have. I think I want to make that copacetic now. Like, I think Eddie Kingston is on. So let's go ahead and pull that contract now. We'll see if we get him a little bit lower. See what he's willing to do. But I think 3 years, never lower to upper mid Carter, and that seems fine. 760. What if I gave you hiring veto? 730. Sure. Might be a little dangerous because Kingston has some enemies, but it'll be fine. Contract is made. Perfect. Now, who else are we missing from NWA Power's roster that I would want to make sure that we have? Because I would like to start relatively, let's say, similar to what they have. Not necessarily because we're obviously already deleting people out of existence, but I would like to have some of their roster pretty much set. Let's take a look and see. I'm just going to review off screen here real quick who we might be missing. Because obviously we got rid of Rock and Roll Express already. I think Homicide's on there. That might... Oh, Thunder Rosa. We probably could use. Yeah, sure, whatever. So I can't complain for $200, but you know, always trying to make some money. Who else are we missing? Let's take a look here. Not much else. I mean, that roster is pretty light, to be honest. We don't have Josephus's spiritual advisor. Camille was the valet and Nick Aldis, which we're not going to use because we're not using Aldis as a heel yet. So, yeah, I guess that might be it. So we are a little light in terms of people. What's Homicide at? Where are you at right now? You're older, though. What are your price? I'm kind of fine without him, to be honest. What's our ideal roster is 22. Is that actually counting our wrestlers though? Or yeah, it is. Okay. So we are at the ideal. It feels light though. I mean, we don't have any tag teams. Who do we have? We got the wild cards, Dawsons. Who are the Dawsons? Dave Dawson and Zane Dawson. Whoever these guys are, I don't. Do you have a pitcher? I don't think I want you if you don't have a pitcher. I don't think it's worth it. We might job you out to people. Okay, so what do we need to do here? We definitely need we need a slightly bigger roster. I know. Hold on. I can hear you guys already screaming at me, saying the last time you did a save for NWA, you hired way too many people. I know. I'm just saying we need okay, listen, we just need a few more people, okay? I'm not going to go crazy, but first of all, we need to add Raymond Rowe and Hanson. Should be War Machine, because that's a better name than War Raiders. War Machines would be different. Okay, so we have 3 teams. So I think we're gonna grab some people that we had. I think we're gonna grab the Von Erichs. I think would be a good grab at this point. What were their names? Let me find the Von Erichs here. Again, good get. Young. They're an MLW right now, right? What are their current names? I always think of their older ones. Is it Marshall, right? Marshall Von Erich? That sounds like yeah, that's him. They're perfect. And your brother is Ross. Good get, easy get. People we already had. Cheap too, which is good. Let's say blue chip prospect. What will you do $350 for us? Yes, you will. Perfect. And let's get Ross. We want a good babyface team. Blue chip, 3 years. Try to get the same. $350. Perfect. Good get here. So that gives us 1 extra tag team. We need maybe 1 more, 2 more women. Maybe 2 more. It would be nice. You know what? Let me look at this updated roster too, because I'm curious to see. Chikara is always a great way to steal talent. Let's see who they have here. That might be good. Because we can always build people up pretty quickly, right? Yeah, we might be able to get Kimberly. What's her skill set at right now? It's fine. Might not be a bad option, actually. I think Allie's in AEW right now, so we can't get her. How many places is she working? Let's see. Shimmer and Shakara and AEW. Not horrendous. we can get for the right price? 350? Sure. All right, so that gives us one female wrestler extra down in there. I don't know who this is. Also, don't know who this is. Former with Nikki Rocks and Shine. It's another Shine wrestler. 10-year pro, though. She's not going to develop. I'm kind of looking for people that might develop quickly. So it's like this girl's a young lion. Gimmick. Bitch. Good to know. Does she have another character? Or is this just it? It's, I mean, not bad skill set, honestly. Not horrendous. Alright. Let's do it. Just to give somebody at least maybe the job out to here and there. We'll do 200 and 180. See if I can. 260? Yeah, it's fine. Okay. So that gives us a nice foundation, I think, there. Like I said, we're not going to go crazy. Little bits at a time. We're not going to overextend ourselves too much. But we do want to have, some people to fight. So having 4 tag teams and what would that be? 5 or 6 women seems okay. Especially when we don't know how Marty Bell is going to be, and Ashley Vox might be a little limited right now, even though we want to grow her up. So that's fine. So I think that looks pretty good. So let's go ahead and we do have an episode of Power, but we're not going to have the entire roster in yet. So we're going to play it safe. We're going to have a pretty basic Power episode until we get the rest of the roster. Let me know, though, who we should add extra. If you have any specific people you think we can add to the NWA 2.0, let me know. We also want to look at potentially if we want to create an alliance. It might be useful right now because there are so many other companies that are kind of doing their own thing. Getting an alliance might not hurt us. They're still regional. I would almost think that they would go into small already, to be honest. But you have a lot of people battling at this point, and maybe getting a alliance with somebody like MLW might not be a bad idea, right? Even though they are regional, and maybe start spreading that old NWA stylings out there. Something to think about. All right, let's go ahead and let's book Power and get our first episode under the belt. Okay, we got some offers here. So, okay, they're trying to scout our talent. That's fine for now, because we are a non-exclusive, so it shouldn't be that bad. Well, we have to also sign some gimmicks. Crap. Let's go ahead and do that real quick. Your best gimmicks are probably Babyface Wholesome, I'm thinking. Face. Maybe Legitimate or Wholesome. Probably Wholesome. Probably just Fan Favorite will work. It should be fine. Who else needs it? Hanson and Rowe, I think. It's your best brute. Is there Berserker? Yeah, that'll work. It's like, is there a Viking? Can we clone it into Viking Berserker? Perfect. So one of the things I'm really excited about the next TEW. Sounds like they're going to do some really nice things with the gimmicks and kind of change how they are. Like right now, they're just flavor. So having something that's a little bit more impactful, I guess, would be the way to say it, is exciting. I'm just all around very excited about the new TEW. I can't wait for it. I'm probably going to be streaming it nonstop, but I can't really stop thinking about it, to be honest. I think there's so many great changes coming in that works that I'm really excited to see what that game looks like. TEW 13 to 16 wasn't a huge jump, but there was definitely some nice quality of life improvements. But it sounds like 16 to 20 might have some huge leaps. So that's all pretty great. Who else am I missing? I need Sasha, who should be a heel, correct? Probably what? Cocky? Yep. Bossy? Oh, man. What exactly is she? The future? Arrogant heel? Probably. We're just gonna fix that to the boss. Perfect. Okay. Who else are we missing here? James Storms and Icarus. Icarus's heel. Annoying. It's not great at any. Probably a cocky one will work. Arrogant will work fine. Okay. And James Storm. He has a gimmick. Oh, it's rated below average. Really? Well, I guess we can change it. What's your best here? Not much. Cocky. Okay. You're a heel, right? Yep. Okay. We could do that. Cocky heel. Let's get that set. Scoundrel. Yeah, that's probably will work fine. We'll move him out of the cowboy-ishness and move him to a different character. We'll be fine. Okay, so that's everybody. We do have some production warnings, which were lower than pretty much everybody else. We do want our distribution to be internet as well. That's fine. I'm not going to change that quite yet. We'll see what we're looking at and where we lie first. I'm going to really keep an eye on that. And then we got to deal with the cornet situation, but we'll deal with it later. So we start with a 67. It's not horrendous. Colt Cabana and Cornette don't like each other. Allison Kay is best friends with Marty Bell. And backstage rules are having a negative effect. So we'll have to look at that. Other than that, somehow Jim Cornette's the locker room leader at this point. That's funny, but that's fine. Let's look at our locker room incident. Incident involving Storm. Storm's been annoying the rest of the locker room with constant preaching about how great his religion is as his employer. Is he... Did he turn to AJ Styles? Like, what is... Okay, fine. We'll just give him a stern warning. And he's pleased. Everyone's pleased. Perfect. Not a big deal. We're going to medal. And I think we're going to try to get try Nick Aldis and Brian Pillman. Let's try to get a positive relationship. Try to get Pillman on a protege standing somewhere. Did not work. That's fine. And where are we going to be is the question, because this relocated to the southeast with Power. So I think we're right outside of Atlanta at this point. We're looking at 1,400 fans. Pick best venue. Metroplex is 1,500. So exactly where we want to be. Weak reputation. Community's okay, though. So should be fine. Not a bad spot, I guess. All right. Let's go ahead and book our first episode. So we got 60 minutes. Does count as a TV show because it is on YouTube. So we do have to worry about, I guess, overages and underages. Let's go ahead and let's book a show. It's going to be a pretty conservative Power, but we'll see what we're looking at in this new dynamic. All right, guys, we are back. So we did 61 minutes out of our 65 allotted and a single pre-show just to see where people are at. So we spent a lot of money here. I wanted to kind of get as many people on the roster used. I just want to see where they're at on this save. So, and again, it's a very safe one. It's kind of a reboot, not quite. As we kind of continue our story. So for now, it's just kind of a very safe one note episode of Power, and once we get everybody on the roster situated, I think then that's when we start to play around a little bit. But let's go ahead and let's run Power and see where we're at. So we started off with a pre-show match. It's decent, actually. Eli Drake and Aaron Stevens defeat Ricky Starks and Trevor Murdoch. Just want to see what they are up to. 8 minutes. Eli Drake defeats Ricky Starks by pinfall. Starks with a weak link. It's not bad. Oh, I gotta change this back to numbers. I prefer the numbers. That's fine. We'll run it like this for now. So C minuses and an E's. It's not bad. Not much to really say about it. It's pretty good. Eli Drake and Steven show excellent chemistry though. That's good to know. Maybe a potential tag team run for them. Because we do want to have a strong tag team division. Good to know. And we do have a turn. I wanted Drake to be a heel and a change the gimmick. So now he's an opportunist heel, which is what he should be. I don't know. I feel like I've never seen Drake as a face, but I guess I just forget about him when he's not. We have an intro. The beginning of the show, Billy Corgan comes back and is welcomed by fans. It says I've been away for a while, but I'm back in NWA, and I'm looking to take back charge and bring it back to its glory for you all. And he introduces the number one women's contendership match beginning of the show that will be a triple threat to take on Sasha. It does fine. He's not great on the mic, which is weird considering he's a singer, but whatever. We have a terrible match that follows. Allison Kay defeats Ashley Vox and Marty Bell in 7 minutes when Allison Kay defeated Marty Bell with a pinfall with a roll-up. Oh, boy. Ease all around. I really wish I had the numbers so I knew the granality of this, but that's basically like 20s, I think. Not great. Not great. They are improving. All right, so we definitely need another big hitter in our women's division because that ain't going to hold up for us. I believe the NWA is set as a traditional show, but it does have equal focus on popularity and performance. So that actually in this situation could be a hindrance for us because if they're not performing, we can't necessarily just make them more popular. It kind of has to grow naturally. The good news is all three of them are, I think, considered young lions, so they'll learn very quickly. As we see, Kay is already improving on technical and performance, which is great for us. Afterwards, this is better. We have a interview with Joe Galley, one of our announcers. Allison Kay walks over to the thing, and they do interview. Kay says if she's going to win the women's championship, she's looking forward to the opportunity, blah, blah, blah. Typical babyface promo. Does pretty well, though. D-, not bad. Much better than the match she had. And afterwards, we have a match angle that gets the crowd hotter. Interrupting her interview is Sasha, who attacks Allison and beats her up and ends up basically leaving her on the ground and laying her out, kind of just giving her dominance and making sure Allison knows that she is not going to win just because she won the triple threat. Got the crowd hotter, and we did advance the women's division heats up storyline and gain heat with it. D+, not bad. And yes, we want to make sure, what are we changing for this? We are changing her to her gimmick. That's right. Great. That's right. It should almost be legendary, but that's fine. I don't think I can change it. We have War Machine fighting some jobbers. I grabbed some local talent that just so happened to be ZZ Lupe and Josh Brendel, the two tough enough guys from 2 years ago. I wanted to see what they were up to. And I figured they were cheap enough. Let's get the squash match going. So War Machine easily defeats both of them in 4 minutes. Raymond Rowe defeated Josh Brendel with a pinfall. Yeah, actually, what's funny is that all things considered, they're not much better in terms of in-ring performance in this at this point. Ed and Brendel actually improved. There might be people we might look at maybe for our lower card. They were cheap enough. They might not be a bad fit, but we give War Machine a very easy win to maintain their dominant streak over the last couple months. And yes, we do want to change their gimmicks. Above average is great, and great is great. So pretty strong there. Their gimmicks go without a hitch. People love crazy, weird Vikings. We have a post-match celebration. War Machine grabs a microphone, celebrate the match, say they are unstoppable, no one can beat them, and all comers can come to face them. No one can defeat the War Machine. And yeah, not much to say about it. D+ does well. No improvements, no nothing, but that's a pretty solid. I think at this point in the regional battles, we're looking for basically D+ or higher is going to be A-okay for us, so not bad. We have a match with Brian Pillman Jr. versus Caleb Conley. It's extremely short. Pillman defeats Conley in 4 minutes by pinfall with the DDT. They don't click, so they have some bad chemistry out there. Match is okay. Pillman had a D-, Caleb had an E+. It's about where I would expect. Pillman is improving on his performance skills. We could really use a protege for Pillman, but we wanted to give him a quick win just to build up his momentum since the previous month's break, and I think it does that. Yes, we want to change his gimmick. He had no gimmick. Give him a fan favorite, hopefully above average. Very good. I'll take it. We have a interview with Nick Aldis back at the interview desk. Joe Galli comes out from announcing and gives a quick interview with Nick Aldis. And Nick Aldis says that NWA needs a new direction and that he is definitely looking to challenge Tim Storm, and that when he becomes champion, he'll be the champion for the fans, and big things will change. And typical babyface interview from Aldis. Not much there. Interesting that they don't like his face turn. I am gonna pull the trigger on it, but it's interesting that his face performance is worse than his heel performance. But I don't really want him a face or heel right now, so let's go ahead and do it. Turn went badly, unfortunately. And we have a match announcement saying that Tim Storm, the champion, will be facing Colt Cabana at the end of the night. Following this announcement, nobody seems to care. Complete your turn. At least his heel turn is a complete success. And the main event, it's a pretty poor match. Tim Storm defeats Colt Cabana 15 minutes by pinfall using the ropes for leverage. Makes defense number 1, technically, of his world's heavyweight title. Yeah, he has an E. Cabana had a C-. So I was hoping Cabana could kind of get him up there. I mean, a D's not bad. Overall, it's not the end of the world. But ultimately, we have some weaknesses in Tim Storm that we have to address. And hopefully, though, if we keep on putting him with solid workers, if we only get a D, that's not the end of the world. We end it with a D- for the show, which is not horrible. We do have some production value issues that we have to deal with. But overall, it increased our popularity in 17 regions because YouTube's pretty much thrown us everywhere. Not bad. Okay, let's take a look at what we got here. I think our contracts are in, which is excellent. Let's go ahead and I'm imagining he's probably going to be a main eventer, but I'll see what he is. Ross Van Erich and Kimberly in. So we're still missing Marshall. Okay, that is her name, Skylar, and then Thunder Rosa, which will be nice additions. Sasha Banks got an offer from Shimmer. YouTube's unhappy. How can YouTube? Well, actually, I know YouTube can be very easily unhappy, but whatever. We're probably 0.13. Actually, isn't horrendous. Better than the TV ratings we were getting on our last save, all things considered. It's not horrendous at all. Yeah, that's shockingly better than I thought we would be at. But what are you gonna do? I guess. So we have some disadvantages that we are doing a weekly show. And I don't know if we're financially viable to do that, but I think what we'll probably do is we'll do a weekly TV show like we're doing here, and use that capital, that $1 million to spend smartly to boost ourselves up as fast as we can. And I think we're going to do maybe 4 bigger pay-per-views a year. And I think that's the plan going forward for NWA. Gives us some boost, some popularity, gives us basically a pay-per-view every quarter. So there'll probably be a pay-per-view, would that be like January, June? I don't know. We'll look at it. Maybe January, May, August, and probably October would probably be the 4 big ones. So we got basically like 7 weeks to build, or 8 weeks to build to a pay-per-view. And we're going to keep it small. We're going to keep it lean. I mean, our roster isn't cheap, right? There is, I think that last show we spent like $1,300 or $13,000. So let's see what our finances are in terms of how much we were making. Is kind of what I'm curious there. So yeah, worker expenditures was 18. It was 9 for our show costs. So what are we looking at here? Let's see real quick. What is our rough total? And then $6,600 in production costs. So about approximately $35,000 in production and total expenditures for 1 episode of Power. And we're making not a lot. Ticket sales were only 11. We got about 4,800 in sponsorships, and merchandise sales are minimal. So we're making about 17,000 from a single show. We're not getting any TV revenue because of what they are. So we're always going to run at a deficit there. So assuming we're always going to get about 12,000 in ticket sales, we're going to have to run really lean. Otherwise, we're just going to be at a loss of about $15,000 an episode, which isn't horrendous. It does add up, though. That would let us I mean, what's that, like $60,000 a month? And we have, capital of about $1 million? So at that level, we could run 16 months before expending all of our capital. That's not that horrendous. If we're looking at this money as money to lose, that's not horrendous. We could use this $1 million to invest to just bump up our momentum. Our goal would be to get to cult size, or at least get some momentum. So I'm not worried yet, but we're going to definitely have to play it by ear, because that money can drop drastically very quickly. But I think that's a good place to be at right now in terms of capital and how we're going to spend it, and investing it a little bit. And I think we're being smart about who we're getting in. And I like some of these additions that we have already, which, oh, by the way, upper mid-carder. Shocking, actually. I kind of thought he would be a main eventer. That's fine, though. But that is what we have here for today. I hope you guys like the kind of quasi-reboot. I'm really excited for it. I'm actually really rejuvenated on this save, and I can't wait to see what happens now that AEW's in the mix and NXT's going on its weekly, and all the pieces are flying off the rails, and what's going to happen. I'm really excited to see how it shakes up in the landscape. Thank you guys for joining me. I will see you next time.